ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਐਸ ਜੈ ਸ਼ੰਕਰ ਨੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਚੁਣੌਤੀਪੂਰਨ ਗੁਆਂਢੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਭਾਰਤ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਜਾਣਬੁੱਝ ਕੇ ਅੱਤਵਾਦ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਫੁੱਲਿਤ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ।
Have a neighbor who will not trade with you, who's a member of the WTO and before that of the GATT, but who will not extend MFN status even though they are legally obliged to, and we did. You have a neighbor who would not allow you connectivity. So we have, for example, the potential to use Pakistan to transit on to Afghanistan or Iran, but they will not allow you that connectivity. Who in many ways have slowed down regionalism, largely because of a concern that that might integrate them more with our economy, who filter people-to-people interaction. So it's a very challenging neighbor. Okay. Now, all of that you could still handle if they then don't do the one thing which is actually unacceptable in the world today, which is to conduct terrorism as, in their eyes, a legitimate tool of statecraft, as a way of pressurizing you to come to the negotiating table. Now, it's not that it's never been done before in history, but it's not today acceptable as a sort of norm of international relations anymore. There's no part in the world, I mean, you have terrorism in different parts of the world, but there's no part of the world where a country uses it consciously, deliberately as a large-scale industry against its neighbor. So for me, the issue is not do you talk to them, don't you talk to them. Of course, I mean, everybody wants to talk to the neighbor. The issue is how do I talk to a country that is conducting terrorism and which frankly I would say follows a policy of implausible deniability.
ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਰਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਧਰਮ ਨਿਰਪੱਖਤਾ ਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਖਤਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ।
We all wish Kashmiris well and you well in refinding stability in that state, building a different future. But lots of other questions. On the edge, a gentleman with...
I think that what we have seen after 70 odd years of independence is actually the results of the democratization of India. And by that I mean that today political power, social power, to some degree economic power, has shifted out of the big cities, the more cosmopolitan cities, where people speak English, where they have a sort of a global comfort level, people like me with whom you'd be comfortable, and move to a different set of people who are much more comfortable speaking in their own languages, who have a sort of a cultural, I would say, a milieu in which would be far more rooted on the ground in many ways. So to my mind, the changes which have happened in India are actually the demonstrate the successes of actual, of democracy and what it has meant in terms of the consequences on the ground. So I don't accept that secularism is under threat for a very simple reason. Look, at the end of the day, secularism was not promoted by a law or by a constitutional belief. It was promoted by the ethos of the society. So, if the ethos of the society was not secular, no law, no constitutional provision would have ensured it. And I don't think the ethos of the society has changed, because I think the ethos of India and the Hindu ethos of India is actually very secular. It's very pluralistic.
ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ 5 ਅਗਸਤ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਸ਼ਮੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਗੜਬੜ ਸੀ। ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸੜਕਾਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਮਾਰਕੁੱਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ, ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਵੱਖਵਾਦ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਲਿਖਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਪੱਤਰਕਾਰ ਦੀ ਹੱਤਿਆ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀ। ਜਦਕਿ ਈਦ ਦੇ ਪਾਵਨ ਮੌਕੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਘਰ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਗਵਾ ਕਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੱਤਿਆ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀ।
Last 30 years, 42,000 people got killed. The fact that the level of intimidation had reached a height where you had senior police officers lynched on the streets of Srinagar. You had journalists who wrote against separatism who were assassinated. You had military personnel returning home for Eid who were kidnapped and killed. So, pre-August 5, please remember this. Pre-August 5, Kashmir was in a mess. I mean, the difficulties in Kashmir have not started on August 5. August 5 is supposed to be a way of dealing with those difficulties. So the choices were either you continue what was clearly not working, or you tried something very different. And I think the decision was to try something very different. So our expectation today is, by doing away with what was a temporary provision, what was meant as a bridge but became a barrier, that we will be able to push investments, economic activities into Kashmir, that we will be able to frankly change the economic landscape, change the social landscape,